Hello, VEA beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie Reneé, and I am a Juilliard trained opera singer. Do not forget to like, comment down below, and subscribe if you would like to see more reactions to this artist or group. And don't forget to check out the links in my description for perks, benefits, and behind the scenes you don't want to miss. All of my reactions are created live on Twitch during our live stream, so I hope I'll see you at the next one. But for now, let's get into this reaction. Here we go! Alright, let's watch this, guys. This is Star Wars Duel of the Fates, the Danish National Symphony Orchestra. Thank you so much, Roy, for sponsoring this video. Guys, let me know what you like and what you don't like, and Roy, let us know if there's anything else we need to know. Here we go! Okay, this is really, really good so far, and it definitely confirms kind of the things that I just said about what I think about kind of what makes a difference between the cinematic and the classical style of orchestrations and orchestra playing, and orchestra composition, I would say. Basically, Roy said, Star Wars producer George Lucas said this performance was almost operatic. Maggie will decide. So far, there's an operatic element, however, because it's so repetitive, like this has been going on for 2 minutes. In opera, that would never happen, or at least not that I have heard yet in my lifetime, or at least not that obviously, if that makes sense. This is another one of those motifs that I was talking about, but it's been going on pretty much the entire piece so far, whereas in opera, it would happen for a little bit, and then it would stop for a while, and then it would come back. It hasn't happened in all of these pieces that we're listening to, but this one especially. It's really, really beautiful, and the choir sounds gorgeous. I would classify this more as classical than operatic so far. There's definitely a lot of drama, but like you need you gotta have an opera singer to make it operatic, but definitely classical, which is not much different. You know what I mean? There's not a huge difference between operatic music and classical music, except that you have operatic singers, if that makes sense. And then in classical music, you wouldn't have operatic singers. You can have opera singers singing classically. Does that make sense? It's like a different style. It's a different way of singing. In opera, it's like from the depths of your soul, whereas song music or classical kind of just technique is not so much from the depths of your soul in terms of energy, but it's like more of like a lined up kind of collaborative effort just for the purpose of the song and to tell the story of the song. I don't know if that makes sense. There's just different elements that like are different in that. Hopefully that makes sense. I can't even articulate today very well, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Let's see. What is happening? Why is it so dry today? Hold on. I keep choking on the air. I'm going to take some water. By the way, look at my giant water. It's giant. It's green screening out a little bit, but I've been drinking a lot of water because I'm trying to get better about that. Also thought I would never use the straw. I'm obsessed with the straw because then I don't have to lift the whole jug over my head. Any hoozlebees. Let me continue on reading what you said. Thomas, I saw your comment. Thomas said, LOL, it also goes the other way around. I have their rock unplugged session supported by the Juilliard Orchestra. And then you said Bryan Adams did a MTV Unplugged, and in a couple of songs he was accompanied by the Juilliard Orchestra. That could definitely happen because Juilliard knows how to play and knows how to read music. So I could definitely see that. I love this piece of music. It's gorgeous. Already got one in for this month. Star Wars producer George Lucas said this performance was almost operatic. Oh, this was what you said. Etc., etc., etc. This was specifically written as the theme for Darth Maul. Oh, boy. The fight with Obi and Darth. Okay. Nope, this wasn't played in the original A New Hope. This is the lightsaber battle between 2 Jedi Knights and Darth Maul. There you go. Correct, Roy. Perfect sense. It's wintertime, so humidity is way low. The vocal... Bart says the vocal technique is different. You don't have to project because you have amplification in classical crossover too. Yes, in classical crossover, you do have amplification a lot of the time. Majority of the time. Almost all the time. But classical is different than classical crossover. Classical crossover goes into the pop genre and, like, other genres too. Classical itself stays in this unamplified situation, but it's not as dramatic as opera music. Like, typically in classical, you wouldn't have staged classical, right? So you wouldn't have a full production, you wouldn't have a full, you wouldn't have set, you wouldn't have costumes, you wouldn't have a plot or anything like that. It's just a singer standing either with a piano or with an orchestra singing about the story and conveying the story in that way. Opera is when you have all the dramatics. You have costumes, lighting, sets, drama, scene partners, like all of this kind of stuff. And you can have more than one person in classical music, like an oratorio. You can have like quartets and all of that kind of stuff, but it's different because you're not performing in an operatic sense on stage. And even like for my oratorio, we use music on stage, right? So like it's professionally, you're using music, you're reading on stage as you're singing. It's a concert type of thing where you're just performing the music versus a full-on dramatic production where the orchestra is out of sight or sometimes on stage with you, but like they're not the focus of it. It's just you performing the opera and people watching the plot and following along like a story. That's the biggest difference, I would say. Any hoozlebees, let's keep on listening. See, and I could even tell the stylistic differences between like a classical concert version with a chorus and this. This has less emphasis on the like line of voice and more emphasis on the drama and like the excitement and grabbing attention. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying kind of, but like even the orchestra, it's not this focus on like, I mean, you can have the focus of the lushness of the music, but even in this dramatic piece, like I feel like in a dramatic piece, you would have the chorus singing, but they would have consistent long lines, and they would have like 16th notes, so like pickups that are really fast, but you would have longer lines, whereas this is just like, and like that's the majority of it. And you'll have that sometimes in opera, but it's in a different way. Like this is definitely like there's just a difference. You can hear the stylistic difference. It's like how difficult it is to say the difference between like blues and jazz. You know what I mean? You hear the difference. It's definitely there, but they've got similar stylistic kind of tendencies in that they do the same kinds of things, but they sound completely different. Same thing with classical and this. It's so beautiful. It's amazing to listen to. This is such a cool conversation to nerd out about. I love doing that because I've never really listened to the contrast between all these different things and like thought about how much inspiration comes from classical music for cinematic music. You know what I mean? There is so much of it, but you don't really think about it all the time when listening to this. You're just like, oh, that's beautiful music, but it's in reality just this really amazing kind of shift that they've made from classical music into cinematic music. It almost feels like cinematic music is the modernized version of classical music. I think it is. It really is that. Because when movies came along, that's when this more so progressed into this kind of manner. Because ahead of that, it was all stage stuff. Like, nobody ever did movie stuff until the TV came along, right? Or until movie theaters came along. So this is very different. Wow. How crazy. How crazy to think about that. That's just amazing. Cinematic has to change its mood to match the scene in the film. Yes, exactly. This is more of a military march type, another genre again. I suppose, but it's still cinematic because it has little elements in it and little shifts in it that don't follow the march the entire time. You know what I mean? Film in theaters, exactly. Film is what changed everything. And TV. Incredible. TV even needs a different style of music. It's not so much cinematic. It's, depending on what's playing, but like a lot of the times TV shows could have just like simple, like theme songs and stuff like that. Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. What a cool thing. Oh my gosh. Roy, thank you so much for sponsoring that video. I appreciate you so very, very much. You are amazing. Let's continue on, shall we? Guys. Oh, and I'm so sorry. Roy wrote, this is from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It accompanies an epic lightsaber battle between two Jedi Knights, good guys, and a Sith Lord, bad guy. It is a beautiful piece of music with both orchestral content and a choir. That's what this was. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Roy. You are awesome. How cool. Oh my goodness gracious. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see another one of my reactions to this artist or group, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below what video I should watch next. Also, be sure to join us on Twitch for our weekly live streams of music, reactions, and more. Don't forget to check out the links down below in my description for exclusive behind-the-scenes perks and benefits. I am sending you all so much love, and I will see you in the next video.